Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5. It's Thursday. That means one more day for the weekend, if you're that kind of person who enjoys that kind of thing. Brought to you by Texas Beef House. Use our promo code 365sports. Holidays are coming up. Why don't you serve Wagyu instead of like boring turkey or ham? Wagyu beef, get it there. bitonbeef.com. Top 5 jobs that shockingly won't be open. Number 5. North Carolina. Just yesterday, Mack Brown gave an interview saying he wasn't ready to quit, which is surprising given the fact that the team actually thought he retired after a tough loss to James Madison early this year, where they gave up 70 points. But he's back in the fight, 74 years old next year, ready to keep going. So kind of surprising that didn't happen because most people thought he was going to retire. But this week he's saying he'll be back beyond this season at North Carolina. Number 4, Hugh Freeze. Now, this one's probably the least likely to have happened anyway, but Auburn's not any better than they were last year in year 2 of Hugh Freeze. The quarterback play is terrible. He's supposed to be a QB guru. He bought himself so big that he thought he could make Peyton Thorne a winning quarterback in the SEC. Well, that hasn't happened. They're not very good. They keep losing at home. They've lost to bad teams too. And the Auburn elite don't really do the whole patience thing really well. Just ask Brian Harsin or Tommy Bowden or anybody who's ever coached there. Gus Malzahn, Gene Chizik. I could go on and on and on. They're not patient there. But for Hugh Freeze, looks like he's going to be back. Now, part of it could be, and a lot of this could be, the House settlement, how no one knows how this is going to affect things, and may not be worth firing your coach when you have to share some money with players. Maybe let the buyout go down for a year and then figure it out in 2025, what you want to do with your coach if they're not successful going forward. Number 3, Baylor and Dave Aranda. Look, I'm thrilled that he's staying at Baylor. I think he was the best hire that they could have possibly made in the wake of Matt Rule leaving. Now, he made some incorrect choices recruiting and building the roster. And maybe even with, thank you for the effect, Jack. And maybe even with some other things as well. But he is always willing to correct those things, and that's a coach you need to keep. One that's not going to be dug so down deep into, this is right, I know it'll work. We call that the Jimbos. Like, he does not have the Jimbos. He knew what he was doing was not working. They were not winning games. They were getting destroyed at home. And it's even more shocking that 6 weeks ago, they were 2-4. Now they're 4-4, have a chance to go 8-4 on the way out, and Dave Aranda is running the program how we always kind of thought that he would. They've got talent more than we thought. They've got development more than we thought. And Baylor keeps on winning, and Dave Aranda has kept his job. Number 2, Arkansas. Now, this one could still be a little touch and go, but I think Sam Pittman's done enough, especially bringing in Talon Green from Boise State as the quarterback. He's been an electric player for them. He's still young, so he's only going to get better. The next year, the Bobby Petrino hire offensive coordinator worked. They need to fix the defense, but they have a good young defensive coordinator who will figure it out. And with basketball getting a whole bunch of money, I think Sam Pittman can go knock on the door and be like, hey, you want us to be a little bit better than 500 or a little below 500. Let's start kicking in for football. Oh my gosh, I'm getting verklempt. And number 1, Florida with Billy Napier. After the first month of the season, he was a dead man walking. Now, I think this has less to do with Billy Napier, getting Florida to 500 and navigating the schedule pretty well. It has a little bit to do with DJ Lagway, but mostly it has to do with what's going on at Florida right now. Their former president, former Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska, had to retire after we'll just call it a wee bit of a Florida scandal where he spent a whole lot of the university's money on extravagant things like parties and flights and vacations. And, I'm not going to bore you with the political minutia of it, but they shoved him right out the door. They have an interim president, Scott Strickland's the AD, and they have Billy Napier as coach, with a huge buyout and the House settlement coming. They also have a problem with their basketball coach, Todd Golden, who's been accused of aggravated stalking, one of the more strange controversies with a coach ever. So Todd Golden might have, in a weird way, given Billy Napier a reprieve, but I would say if things don't get better next year at Florida, they're going to have a new basketball coach, a new football coach, a new AD, and they'll certainly have a new president because the interim president was the former president that has been enjoying retirement for the last 3 years and is just coming to step back in to do them a favor. So, Billy Napier, reprieve, but not completely off the hot seat. He has to do better. He has to make this DJ Lagway thing count for the Gators to keep him 2025 and beyond. That's going to do it for this episode of the Top 5. The principal lets us out of detention right after this.